I've been thinking about doing a Gollum Schmeagol Lord of the Rings stream series where I was yes, precious, we love this, so good. Just so sweet, fun to eat. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games, I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video. But now, my friends, we come to the part of the stream where we get into the nitty-gritty details, chat. This is where I got to answer my patrons' questions. And we got a lot of questions. Why is it called Class in a Glass? My friend, for everything, I've never named any of my stuff, which is so weird. My friend, John Romo, we used to do a video game podcast way back in the day called We Are Error. And, we would have a couple of drinks while we would record. And, I would do like a nice little toast while we were doing our thing. Just funny stuff. And he used to call me Christopher Herman, the man with class in a glass. That's what he would say. And I'm thinking, that's good. I'm gonna steal. That's mine. That's mine now. I'm going to trademark them. I'll sue you if you use it. And so I've been using it ever since. I've been doing that one. And it happened again today, chat, with the Discord discourse. Vanna Spheres is the one who came up with that name. And I was like, that's fucking great. I'm going to steal it. I'm going to take that. It's mine. It's mine now. TM, trademark. I'm going to make money off of that. You're not going to get any money or I'll sue you. And so there you go. It's crazy. But that's the origin of both of those things. They happen in a very similar way. Because I was thinking all day. I was going through the whole week. I was like, what am I going to call this new thing? Is it just the Class in the Glass podcast? It's like, no, the Discord discourse. A Class in the Glass production. Where you, the viewer, you, the listener, you, the fan, can participate. Share your opinion on whatever film we're talking or whatever cartoon we're talking about. Chat. Next week will be a cartoon chat. Will we discuss Batman the Animated Series? Hell of a Boss, Batman Beyond, chat, Superman the Animated Series, Static Shock, who knows? We could discuss. It'll be fun. So I can't wait, chat. The next one will be cartoon themed. Well, we'll go into like the main premise of the show itself, and also maybe some particular episodes. Because we beforehand, I was doing like actual watch parties where we just watch and we just talk and what we like, react to it, and that kind of thing. So yeah, part of it will be like just a general talking about the show, and the other part maybe be specific episodes, what we liked about it, that kind of thing. So I'm excited. Pro, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Speaking of which, we need more George Lucas. Yes. I've talked about this before about doing themed streams and me playing a specific character. Definitely, I got to do George Lucas themed Star Wars Let's Plays. I think that'd be very fun. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was great with Mr. Lucas. I've been thinking of other stuff. I don't know. Maybe possibly Bane playing Batman. I think maybe like a Bane playing Batman Arkham Asylum or something would be really cool. Me getting dressed up as Bane. I've been thinking about doing a Gollum Schmeagol Lord of the Rings stream series where I was yes, precious, we love this, so good. Just so sweet, fun to eat. Like doing that. It'll kill my fucking voice, but I'm thinking that, or Joker or whoever else. It'll be fun though, Chad. It'll be fun. Oh, Lord. But, my friends, let's go ahead and get to these questions. I'll continue to welcome you guys as you come in here. Have some nice conversations between the other questions I got to answer, of course. Well, let's get these first questions, Chad. I'm going to answer these in the order which I received them, Chad. It is only fair to the people who submitted them. Yeah, Joker here, playing Arkham Asylum. I can do that. Hell yeah, Chad. No doubt about it. Chris, the man in a suit gave me this card. He wants me to play a game. Let's go. What? No, don't do it. Don't do it. Look at the boss. You get the card. Oh, there it is. Oh, yep, there it is, man. Oh, that's funny. I know. Where was the X? That was the one thing that was missing. That's very good. But chat, let's go ahead and get to these questions. I'm going to read Ducking Henry Stefan's question. Thank you Stefan, for being a Juicy Gang subscriber on my Patreon. Hope you're enjoying the content so far. But Chatty has some very kind messages for me right here. Hey, Juicy, happy 30th birthday. Pardon me, just turned to dust. Much love to you, and may you have many more. I hope so. Let's 30 more and 30 more after that. Let's get me to 90. I wouldn't mind getting the 90. 100's like, I don't want. I'll be falling apart by 100. But 90, that's a good year. That's a good year, chat. That's good. Sunday, you reviewed Squid Game in Midnight Mass, which got my brain attuned. Yes, Martin and I did review the Double Toast chat last Sunday. Question 1. Squid Game touches on a global issue that's pretty bad in Korea right now. Wealth inequality, the lower classes, debt making the rich even richer. What movies or shows have you watched that tackle serious issues well? For me, Parasite is definitely one of them. Yes, definitely. I would have mentioned Parasite, chat, where it shows just the stark contrast between the classes following this very poor, downtrodden family who has gone into basically making schemes to try to find financial stability, engendering themselves to a very rich, wealthy family, which seems innocent, which seems like totally innocent, like the family themselves, and you feel better for the family, but you realize that the rich family is so rich that they have just become blinded to the everyday struggles of other people, and have such a profound lack of empathy for other people that are just not of the same class or monetary wealth as them. And you watching this movie, like you go back, witness me and my answers to these questions. Paradiso Jones, thank you so much for the rating. Everybody on the dance floor. Right, you can see Paradiso Jones answering a question right now from Stefan, talking about economic inequality, wealth inequality between specific groups, and films that tackled it well, going into how Parasite handles that well, and making you go back and forth between, which one is right here? Is it the family who's conducting the scheme, this con? Is it the rich family who are seemingly innocent but woefully ignorant to what's actually happening around them? And you realize that they're both incredibly flawed and they're both doing bad things. But it's a Parasite, chat, directed by Bong Joon-ho. I think I'm saying his name correctly. Excellent. A great gateway movie into South Korean cinema, chat. Much of the way Squid Game, I think, is a great gateway into South Korean TV and cinema. They have something in common with each other, which is tackling that economic inequality between them. But I have to put, you mentioned Parasite, but I have to put Parasite up there just because it's so recent. It's so fresh in my mind. It was my favorite movie of 2019. 2019, well, what a fucking year for films, chat. Incredible goddamn year for films. Everything from Avengers Endgame to 2017 to Toy Story 4 to Doctor Sleep. Uncut Gems. Oh my God, so many great movies. Uncut Gems is actually one of my answers to a couple of upcoming questions, chat. But yeah. Ooh, Glee, thank you for the 100 biddies. I love that John Carpenter theme. Thank you. Just got done with your Venom review. Oh, thank you, Glee. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked it. I did get a little spoilery towards the end there. But thank you so much. An absolute pleasure to have you here right now, talking about these class and glass questions, just talking about wealth inequality and how it's handled in movies. What are the best examples of that? Mentioned Parasite. You mentioned it, Stefan, but I have to mention it myself. Definitely that. And this one, I guess to a certain extent, it's economic inequality, but it's more like racial inequality. And they can go hand in hand. They definitely go hand in hand. And I had to throw in their District 9. Back when, when we were all very excited about Neil Blomkamp and going like, who the fuck is this guy? Holy shit, what a first film check to enter onto the scene with District 9, which really it's more of an examination of the apartheid in South Africa, chat, between, wealthy white landowners and poor blacks, and how you had these people, these colonizers, who would occupy this area for so long and pass all these laws, which made it more difficult for the native black people. And this film is basically that, except in this case, it's not specifically black people, but it's aliens. It's aliens who arrive on Earth, and they're not technologically superior or anything like that. They are, but they are struggling. They are sick, and they're stuck here. And we do what humanity typically does, is that, well, we're going to take advantage of you. We're going to put you into hovels, going to put you into a shanty town, exploit your technology for our own gain. But you do see the classism there. Even if it is with alien creatures, where you have these, these rich white people who are taking control, mandating specific birth rates, like one-child policies and things. Like it's all these themes are right there, but at the same time, much like Parasite, it's still just a really entertaining movie with characters that are complicated, which maybe you may like them or may not like them. You have a protagonist who you feel all sorts of different ways about, I think, with Sharlto Copley's a middle manager bureaucrat. But yes, there is some classism. There is some economic disparity examined in that movie. And unlike a lot of Neil Blomkamp's other films, like Elysium and Chappie, which I think are extraordinarily heavy-handed, this one I think is still subtle enough to like, oh, you're still making a really entertaining movie, but all those themes are intact and they're important. And they still hit you. They still punch you, and you get to talk about them. So definitely Wickus, that's right, Wickus, that's his name. I always forget like what Sharlto Copley's character's name, but yeah, what a name, Wickus. But yeah, definitely District 9. And another one, and I don't think often people think about it this way, but it's interesting to me to see people's different reactions, how people view it. And it's The Wolf of Wall Street, where I know people who are like disgusted by Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Jordan Belfort, who plays the quote-unquote Wolf of Wall Street in the movie, who starts out as a stockbroker but gains so much influence and money through selling penny stocks. And I think the movie examines both what excess can do to a person and our perception of what success is. Where some people admire him. That's a fucking weird thing about it. Like, some people actually literally admire Leonardo DiCaprio's character, which is based on real life Jordan Belfort, but they admire that guy, which is like, that's not the point of the movie. That's not what Martin Scorsese is trying to do here. Is like to make you admire him. It's to make you what I feel disgusted by his excess. But what the movie also does well is it's there. I mean, yes, he's indicted for all these various crimes that he commits, but one of the things that really stuck with me is how he and his various acolytes take advantage of just these people that don't know any better. And they're not dumb. But they just don't know any better, and they don't understand stocks. Like, stocks is fucking weird. Does anyone truly understand stocks? I don't think so. It always feels like a guessing game, and yet the rich always gets richer and the poor always gets poorer. That's the movie showcases where they focus on trying to sell penny stocks, which are these stocks that have a high volatility rate, which you can buy a lot of them, but some of them could go fucking bust, or some of them can raise in price. You can make a huge profit off of it, and they target specific people to make so much money at first from them. And so I think that movie, looks at the excess and what it can do to a person and corrupt them. And maybe they had good intentions at first, but really, when you have all that and you have no inhibitions and you have people encouraging the whole time, is where you end up. But I did like that one part in the movie where they're taking advantage of these kind of suckers. These people I don't think are dumb. They just don't know. And I really like that. And I really like that in the movie. Like when he first works for that company, when they're like working out of the garage, and he's calling these people, and he's basically telling his coworkers and people under him, like, this is how you have to fucking do the sale to trick these people into buying all these stocks. I really like that. I thought it was cool. And I think that's a good examination of showing you the wealth inequality. How I think when, not saying like, when you get money, you don't give a shit about anybody. It's like, no, it's not it. But certain people who attain this wealth, they become less sympathetic or caring or anything towards these other individuals. Because like, well, I got money, I'm protected, so fuck you. So I think that's, I've said, I'm not fucking leaving. I mean, it's a great fucking quote. I love it. But I do think that's a big part of the movie, is just to show how these people will take every opportunity to take advantage of people that just don't know any better, who aren't, again, necessarily dumb. They're just ignorant to a system that is still not really understood all that well, except by the super wealthy. So those are my three personally. Yeah, Parasite, District 9, The Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know if you guys had any other specific movies examining like wealth or economic inequality thought were handled like really well, or like in a serious way. But those are the ones that I thought. I think Matthew McConaughey stole that movie. Oh no, I know he has a. The Big Short. Big Short's a great one. Where if you follow the guys who bet against the housing, the bubble, the crash, And they made a shit ton of money where all those people lost so fucking much. That's another good one. Definitely The Big Short. Very good pick, Pro. Very good pick. Prick. Very good pick, Pro. That's one. Train to Busan. Yeah. I mean, there's so much. South Korean cinema, that apparently is just a theme right now. Like, I guess there's such an economic class disparity in South Korea. That's like all their films are about this right now. Maybe GG, the crazy part about it is that that's his warm. He does before during the scene, and Leo said, let's do that. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he just does that to kind of get psyched into the scene and things like that. It's like, okay, gotta be on tempo. I got it. Help him relax. I think that's really cool. They added that to the movie. Big Short, Snowpiercer, of course, yes, Snowpiercer, definitely. Another, Bong Joon-ho. That's another one of his films, of course. But yeah, that is very much about class inequality and economic inequality. Knives Out, yep, Ryan Johnson's film. Sorry to Bother You is another great one, not another great pick, yeah. Definitely Sorry to Bother You. Which, again, is economic equality, racial inequality. Totally. The Platform, that's another, yes. I've never seen The Platform. I've always wanted to check that out, but, yeah. Snowpiercer was phenomenal. Knives Out is the shit. I don't like Sorry to Bother You. It's a weird film. It's definitely weird. I think it's the most out there of all the films that we've mentioned right now. Yeah. And it has a cannibal in it, so there's that. But excellent question, Stefan. This is Stefan's second question. Midnight Mass is a slow burn versus Squid Game that grabs you in the first episode and doesn't let you go. That's true. Although I really like Midnight Mass. I like both of them both, but you're right. Pacing, especially in our short attention span age, can make or break any form of media. When has pacing completely taken you out of the film, show, game, and when has it drawn you in? I mean, in terms of films that where I think the pacing has killed this movie or just killed my interest in it. I mean, I've talked about this before. I actually mentioned it today. We were doing our Alien talk, but 2001: A Space Odyssey, chat. Yes, that film is beautiful to look at. There's no doubt about it. There's some great ideas in it, but fuck, that movie is too long and it's so paced. I don't need to stare at a space station exterior for 16 minutes and just look at it. All right, that's it. No, it's too much. It's too much. No, that film's pacing is awful. Another sci-fi film, chat. I mentioned this before, but Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones. That movie, the thing is, I saw that at a young age, chat. And this is during the time when I was a young man, where I Episode 1 is great. It was so much fun. And Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, made me go oh my God, this is so boring. And then I had a realization, wait a minute, is Episode 1 a bad movie? And I went back and I went, oh no, it is. And I had that realization. So Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, is because of its impact on me and how it changed my way of thinking in regards to Episode 1. I was very young. And a recent example, chat, I think it hurt it. It's funny because the movie's not that long, but controversial answer, but Candyman 2021, despite only being 90 minutes, that movie's pacing is awful. It's not even, it's just that, and really what it is, it's just a lack of interesting things happening. That's what causes pacing issues. Sometimes it's not even you can have a long movie. You can have a long movie, and you won't even feel it. Lord of the Rings, Avengers Endgame, very long movies, 3 hours, sometimes even more than that, especially when it's extended editions or something like their director's cuts. Those movies don't feel long to me because something always interesting is always happening. There's always interesting conversations, an interesting scene, there's an action scene, whatever. But when you're watching a movie and you feel the pace, when people say pacing issues, it's not saying the movie is long. It's not about that. It's just there's a lack of interesting things happening within the scene itself, within the movie itself. And with Candyman, I think that's even though it's 90 minutes, that's a movie that has profound pacing issues where we're so, instead of spending time on building characters or showcasing scary moments or, really effectively exploring the lore of Candyman or something like that, which, the first movie did, it spends time in the art world. It spends time talking about art and spending with people that are very thinly written. And because these characters are thinly written and because we're spending in the art world, which is a world that is interesting to me, that's where the pacing is affected. That's where I feel that it's slowed down. And despite being short, it feels like nothing is happening. And so those are some ones on the top of my head. Now, again, good ones that are slow. Maybe they're slowly paced, but there's something. Not even slowly paced, but they're long. They're long movies, but I still think they're effectively paced. Lord of the Rings, Avengers Endgame, the original Star Wars trilogy. I think the pacing in those are very, very good. Something interesting is always happening. Something you can examine and talk about. That's for me. Yeah, I'm the opposite. I thought I know a lot of people like the movie. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. That's one of my biggest disappointments of the year. Blade Runner 2049 has you hooked throughout the whole movie. You know, it's interesting. I feel like Blade Runner 2049 has pacing issues, but I've liked the movie more and more and more as I've watched it. Well, like, I own the film, and I really have appreciation for it now, like even more than when I originally saw it in the theater. But I watched it in chunks. I watched it like in 2 parts because it's a long film. But yeah, Goodfellas long, but the pacing is great. Yeah, that movie's 3 hours, nearly 3 hours long. Yeah. What about great movies that are long but move slowly? Well, it's like, again, it's like, so The Godfather, I guess, is a long movie, but at the same time, there's something so always interesting happening in it, and the pacing does not feel slow. I wouldn't say the pacing in The Godfather Part 2 is bad, because there's something interesting happening every single scene with a particular character, you know. So, I mean, you can have a long movie, but that doesn't mean the pacing is bad in a long movie. The pacing can be bad in a long movie if your characters aren't interesting, if the story is confusing and uninteresting, if your action scene is not shot well. These are the things that affect pacing in my mind. That's how I feel. Producer Jones, thank you again for that very kind raid. Go over to my main, see y'all in bed. No problem, Producer Jones. Thank you so much. Yeah, so those are some of mine off the top of my head, chat. Question 3. We'll go ahead and move on to question 3 from Stefan. Addiction isn't an easy vice to show, whether it be gambling, sex, drugs, alcohol, etc. Most media's portrayal of it is dramatic and overwhelming. True. Could you name some shows, films which showed addiction in a subtle but striking way? You know, this seemed, I thought, like, I want to cover, like, different types of addiction, not just, like, you know, drug addiction or alcoholism, because those are the ones that are always popular to show in film. Those are the ones people go to oftentimes. And I wanted to start with one, which was Michael Fassbender in Shame, which is about a man that has a sex addiction, a porn addiction, which we don't often see in a lot of films. Like, there's a couple, like Don Juan with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Scarlett Johansson. But I was like, I really struggled to think of some other ones. But Shame was the one that stuck out to me. And it wasn't even like the fact he's like, like furiously fucking jerking off, and he hates jerking off because he don't want to do it anymore, and he just needs to. Like, he has that insatiable desire to, even though he hates himself. That's Shame. That's Shame, Chad, again. Which is so appropriately titled. But it's actually a subtle moment in the movie, because there's a lot of scenes you could say that one that showcases his disease, his addiction. But there's one moment in the movie that I really liked that I was like, oh my God, because it affects other people. How it affects other people is interesting to me. Where at his job, he's constantly looking at porn, like, all the fucking time, and constantly, like, jerking off and everything. But because, you know, but he's doing it on the work computer. So your fucking boss and your employees, I mean, you know, IT, they'll find that shit. And they probably have an porn policy. And it's later on in the movie where they find that, but he doesn't get blamed for it, for all the porn in the computer. Who gets blamed for it is like an intern or something who's just trying to get a fucking, you know, step up in life. And he gets all the blame, and he lets it happen. And that kid's life is ruined. His opportunities are ruined. And that it was that subtle thing that I'm like, God damn, this is how destructive it can be, and how it can ruin someone else's life. It caught all those viruses and stuff. That's what it was. And with the IT, it's like, there's fucking porn all over the place. And the kid ended up getting blamed, even though he wasn't doing any of that. He wasn't looking at that. It's like that little moment right there, I thought, that was interesting. You know, because we don't really see that. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, another example, you know, like a film that did that with sex, which, again, it's rare to see sex addiction, you know, a porn addiction. But it's real. It's real. And I liked how that movie showcased it, and how, because of Michael Fassbender's addiction, that film destroyed that kid's life. His opportunities, fucking, you know, work opportunities. That one was a big one for me. These other ones, chat, you know, I've talked about The Shining and Dr. Sleep, but, you know, when you think of The Shining, I think a lot of people they don't instantly think of Jack Nicholson's character of Jack Torrance's alcoholism, but that's a huge part of the movie. It's like, it's actually right front and center in the beginning of the film. Because we often think about, like, oh, the hotel itself, it's spooky, or Jack Nicholson going around, you know, the Overlook, and, you know, fucking axing Scatman Crothers to death and stuff like that, or chasing Danny or his wife, you know, holding up in the bathroom. I think these are the images that we often see. But with The Shining, it is, you realize how the ghosts, they exploit Jack Nicholson's alcoholism, Jack Torrance's alcoholism. Like even with that first conversation that he has of Lloyd the bartender, where he sits down, and you can see how they're subtly pushing him ever so slightly. It's like, your money's not good here, sir. Money's not, have a drink. It's like these kind of things, and he's taking it. And Jack Torrance, Jack Nicholson's character, he's not a happy drunk. He's very much an angry drunk. And when he gets the alcohol, then he finally expresses himself. He starts saying all these things, how he's resentful towards his wife because of the way she looks at him, because how he abused Danny because of his alcoholism, and how why Danny acts the way he is. He knows that his wife blames him for that. It's like these little things. Like you realize, like, oh shit, this is about his alcoholism and how the ghosts recognize that. And even if, I don't know, you don't know if Jack Torrance was ever a moment when he actually tried to better himself in that movie, because it's a dark film. In the original Shining book, Jack Torrance, he fights against it. In this one, he fully succumbs to it, fully succumbs to the addiction, which I think is one of the reasons why Stephen King didn't like the adaptation, because Jack Torrance is redeemed by the end of the Shining novel. In the movie, he is not. He succumbs to the addiction and the rage and the fear, and he dies because of it. And then what I love about Dr. Sleep, again, that is about, fucking Mike Flanagan knows how to do stories about addiction, especially when you watch Midnight Mass. The big theme of that, other than faith, is addiction. And in Dr. Sleep, Danny has the same disease his father has with his alcoholism, but he manages to overcome it, and he is placed in the same fucking exact scenario. And spoilers for Dr. Sleep, you haven't seen it, I highly recommend doing so because it's great. But he's in the exact same scenario his dad is at the end of the movie, the third act, where he goes to the same bar, and his dad is his bartender. Your money's not good here. All right, have a drink. But he rejects it. And to show that he is, even though he still is affected by his alcoholism, by his disease, he has enough willpower to push aside the drink, where his father just shows him. It's like, this is what this fucking is. This is medicine. This is medicine against a resentful wife. This is medicine against a boy who won't even look you in the eye. That's what it is, and I like that. Showed how different they are. So that definitely, like, when I think of like porn addiction, I always go to Shame. For alcoholism, I always go to The Shining, Dr. Sleep. Now for gambling addiction, chat, another recent film that also came out in 2019 alongside Dr. Sleep, and that's Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler. I mean, there's a lot of movies with where they examine gambling addiction. I was actually watching clips the other day of The Gambler with Mark Wahlberg and John Goodman, and I thought, this movie would have been so much better if Mark Wahlberg was not in it. Like, he was so fucking miscast in that film. Because John Goodman is so fucking good. It's like, I'm just floored how good. You've never seen The Gambler of Mark Wahlberg? Again, Mark Wahlberg is so fucking uninteresting in that movie. But all the John Goodman scenes in it, oh my God. He's like, are you the Kingpin, sir? It's like, I was like, he could be the fucking Kingpin. He's amazing. But my answer is Uncut Gems for gambling addiction, because even though Adam Sandler's character, I mean, he owns a jewelry store. He has, like, he is obviously is able to bring in money. He can't help himself. Even when he's up, he's like, I got to gamble. I still got to do it. I still have to bet big. And he makes it even worse for himself. And he keeps doing it and doing it and doing it. It escalates, and his day gets worse and worse and worse. And he can't help himself. It's almost like he's not only addicted to the gambling itself, but it's the idea of, it's the escalation. It's like, how bad can this get before I can go out on top? And he just does it over again. And I love it for that, until, inevitably it doesn't work out for him. But no, that movie does a great job of showcasing what a gambling addiction is, both in terms of just money, but also in terms of just your life, just the thrill. Even if you think, even though you're like, I don't want any of this, but you still do it anyway. And it's because he's sick. And that's what addiction is, Chad. It is a disease. It's hard to maintain and manage. Uncut Gems are too long. Uncut Gems was too long. See, I really like the movie. John Goodman is a super underactor. He is so goddamn great. So goddamn great. He's like, yeah. And that movie's like, oh my God, he's the Kingpin. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's absolutely incredible. Do I know that Stanley Kubrick mostly abused Shirley Duvall? Yeah, of course. Mostly abused Jack Nicholson, too. Made him do that fucking scene with the baseball bat. Give me that. Give me that. All that shit. They did that like 35 fucking times. Yep. Drove her nuts. And she was on cocaine while making that movie, too. They're drug man. There you go. Addiction right there. But those are mine, chat. Shane, Shining Doctor Sleep. Shane with a porn addiction, sex addiction. Shining Doctor Sleep with alcoholism. And Uncut Gems with gambling. Yeah. Which makes that whole subplot more frustrating because you shouldn't be... Oh, I'm sorry. You're doing something else. Gotcha. But, yeah, those are my answers, chat. Yeah, another good question, though, Stefan. Duck and Henry, I'm reading your questions right now. Thank you so much. Be juicy. Read my question. I am doing that right now. Oh, yeah, Denzel Washington. Yep, alcoholism. You know, it's like... I don't really care for that movie, but Denzel's performance is really good. You know? That's a good one. Yeah, I like how he manages his alcoholism with drugs. That says something. Where, funny enough, John Goodman comes in and is like his coke dealer, his weed dealer, he's the guy you go to for your drugs. And where he gives him like a Cocoa Puff or some fucking shit. Where it's like cocaine inside a cigarette. And he's like, okay, he's good. To help him with it, he needs cocaine and various other illicit substances to manage his alcoholism. That's a great scene in the movie. Very good, very good. Chat, let's get to question 4 from Stefan Ducking Henry. Faith is a bit of a theme in both these shows. Yes. Whether it be faith in a higher power or faith that your abilities can change your life. Martin was a bit suspicious of how people could so blindly follow based on faith alone, but I believe you, like me, I'm not surprised to see it at all. What are some turning points in movies, shows where the characters side against their better judgment that either break or make the storytelling? You know, again, so this is, yeah, it's like, so they adhere to something, chat. They adhere to something specifically, but then they later abandon it for whatever reason, you know. And I couldn't think of like one where it's like they adhere to this, but then they make the right decision because it doesn't stick with you. The only thing I can think of is what they adhere to a specific philosophy and then they abandon it to do a stupid thing. And the one that always comes to my mind, we were talking about it earlier today, although not in the context in which I'm going to bring it up, but Prometheus. So you have a scientist in that movie, chat, this very, Chucky Finster-looking scientist from, like, Rugrats. And they're in the ancient fucking temple or whatever, and he freaks the fuck out when he sees dead alien bodies, like dead humanoid. He's like, fuck that. I want to get out of here immediately. All right, so it's like, okay, I like this guy because he's like, okay, he knows like something killed these things. We need to leave now. It's like, okay, I like that. He's like, I'm having this reaction. I feel like we would have the same exact reaction, chats. Like, what the fuck killed this guy? Is it still here? Is it some kind of talk? Like, it could be anything. I like his reaction. And then 10 minutes later, he gets lost with some guy, and they don't get out somehow, even though they have maps on their wrists that show them where to go, because the fucking thing is mapped out. It's literally mapped out, but I guess they never looked at it. They end up in the same room where all the dead bodies were, and a giant vagina snake appears and starts hissing at him. And this guy's decision now, I'm thinking, oh, well, this is the guy that freaked out when he saw dead aliens. He's going to freak the fuck out. And like, we need to get out of here now because there's a fucking vagina snake hissing at me. And his thing is like, it's so beautiful. He reaches out to touch it. It's like, that's not consistent. That's not consistent with this man's judgment, which we saw literally 10 minutes ago. So why does he want to reach out and pet the evil-looking vagina snake? But he does, and it wraps around his arms, break it, gets inside, and goes down his fucking throat and lays babies, I assume. And he dies. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that was one of many decisions in that movie that make no sense, and characters have judgment issues, there's no doubt. But that is the big one for me. That's when I think of like a dumb character in a horror film, and there's plenty fucking examples. That's what I was thinking, like, because that's the one that I instantly thought of. Like, why would you go in the spooky house? Why would you go down the basement? Why would you do this and that and that? And it's like there's a shit ton of them. There's millions of them, thousands of examples, let's say. But that one in Prometheus it's just so weird because you establish initially this character does have some good survival instincts. Fight or flight, and here he loses it in 10 minutes, and it makes no fucking sense. So that's a big one for me. That's a big one for me. Oh, he didn't want to fuck the snake. He just wanted to touch it. He just wanted to pet the thing. There's some other stuff too, but that one's the king. I mean, that's the king of like, why did you suddenly make this character so stupid, even though minutes ago he was seemingly intelligent? But there's other stuff that I'm like, this is just weird. This is a weird decision. I mean, the other one, famous one, another horror film. the Blair Witch Project, where you have these characters who are lost in the woods because the witch is manipulating them. But you have this one character who's just like, I just kicked the fucking map in the river. Ha 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 ha. What'd you mean you kicked the map in the river? You're kidding. No, I didn't. I kicked it in the river. Ha. It's like, what are you talking about? Again, stupid. Very stupid. These guys are like, no, we have to find the path. We can get on the path. Use every resource we can. I fucking kicked in the river because who gives a shit? It's like, no, you didn't. Give me the map. Stupid. That's a big one. And then just other judgment calls where it's like it doesn't make like a lot of sense. Like you will like this one is for Man of Steel, chat, where you will have Pa Kent risk his life to save a dog after it's about to get sucked up into a tornado. Like, I'm gonna go risk my life to save this fucking dog, but I will not let my son come and get me as the tornado sucks me up because I gotta prove a lesson to him. No. You stand back. Even though he moves fucking faster than a speeding goddamn bullet, faster than any locomotive, Chad. No one even fucking know. No one even be able to tell. But nah, nope, don't do it. don't do it. Makes no goddamn. My invincible son, who could easily save me, it's like, nope. Even though no one would recognize you, and you move literally faster than anything that ever existed on our planet. Nope. So, very, very silly. Very, very silly, chat. Those are the big ones for me. Any other examples? Like, why does the Wolfpack keep trusting Alien with the drink? I don't know. That was the stupidest moment. That is one of the, yes, that is the stupidest moment in the movie. That's like oh my God. Hold up, but Pa Kent had a point in doing that, though. No, he didn't. His son could have literally got it. It would have been fine. Oh, yeah, I thought I had something with that, but nah, how could they see people in a fight? They wouldn't even know. Everyone's all fucking scared. Everyone's like, oh, God, and tornado and shit, as you would be. Oh, Lord. Oh, the Hangover. What's special about the Hangover? Man, she was awesome. I don't care what. No, yeah, if you like it, you like it. I'm not a fan. I did a review of Man of Steel. It'll eventually be on my YouTube channel, Class and Glass. You can watch that review. Be fun. Yeah, well, no one was watching. The kid from Hereditary Drive. Oh, that kid was stupid. The thing is, like, I tried to look at, like, characters who are seemingly not stupid and did a stupid thing. Like, they made bad judgment call, even though their judgment's been pretty sound. Whereas, like, with that kid is dumb from the beginning. That kid is just stupid. He's a troublemaker. He's a shitty student. He's a shitty son. And so I was like, that was par for the course with him. Yeah, I was like, yeah, of course. Of course he gets fucking knock his sister's head off off their goddamn neck. That's how I felt at the very least. That was me. But it's a good question. Those are mine. Those are some of my answers. In terms of like ones that went against their judgment, did a good decision. The thing is, I don't think about that because they made a good decision. So I think that, most of the time that does happen. It's like, oh, that's great. But there's nothing like a big moment where it's like, oh, okay, you finally did the right thing. I don't know, something else coming to mind at the very least. But now, chat, what if Doctor Strange, a million people like, hey man, stop, and he's just like, nah. No. Oh, and the latest what if? Why did they show her decapitated head up close like that? They want to gross us out. You're like, look at this little girl's head. It's so gross. And it's like, yeah, it is. Okay, we can move on. They were like, nope. Let's watch it for 2 more minutes. And I'm like, okay. I'm not a big fan of Hereditary. Not a big fan. Question 5, chat. This is the final question, I believe, from Stefan. Question 5. Now I've had a theme here, but it's your birthday. Thank you. Well, it's your birthday now, but by the time you read this, you'll be a bit more settled into 30. Yes, I am. I can literally feel my skeleton settling into my muscle mass as you speak. 30 years old, a sort of turning point in American culture. We have so many movies that deal with getting older and whether our life is on track or not. Training like This Is 40-Year-Old Virgin, etc. What are some films that deal with aging that have stuck with you over the years? Thanks for reading my questions and for always giving us great content. Your thickness shakes the pillars of heaven as we speak. Thank you. Or at least I think that's how the quote goes. Close. It's may the wings of liberty that was a feather, you're shaking the pillars of heaven as we speak. Cheers and salute to you. But close, Jack, close. But movies like that, because, there's a lot of movies that deal with aging. But I wanted to go with films that are like more, that had like, I don't know, like a bigger impact on me personally. Or that I associate now with more. as a 30-year-old, or as I did in my late 20s or something, you know, or as my mid to late 20s, and now as a 30-year-old. And one that comes to mind immediately, and it's relevant to what certain life changes that I've made. It might surprise people, but Office Space. You know, Mike Judge's Office Space Chat, the late 90s comedy, where it literally just follows these characters who are working in this office, this office environment for this fucking software company who creates, websites for banks and things and manages like accounts. But it's about this man who is he's not lazy. It's not like he's a bad employee, but he's just kind of given up. Like, he is so bored and so unsatisfied with his job. And he seems to be a man who is in his late 20s, 30s, maybe even early 30s by the looks of him. And he's like, this is my point in my life. And the big part of the movie that I like so much is like, what do I need to do? It's like, I just don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's not that I'm a lazy person. And they showcase it in the film. He's not. But he's like, I just don't give a shit. And it filmed perfectly. To this day, Chad, yeah, there's some dated stuff like not really dated, because they have fax machines. Why do we still have fax machines? We have email. Why the fuck do we have fax machines? Why? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And they never them work. Mine in my office never fucking worked. I was like, no one uses this anymore. Why? We have that one fucking guy, that one 85-year-old man who's like, I must fax something. Why do you need to do that? Use email. Please, for the love of God. But it just showed how unsatisfied he was with his life and living this specific lifestyle and going to work and dealing with these fucking people. And I'm like, I really relate to that. I definitely really relate to that. And certain things, events happen in the movie, but he's finally happy with himself. He's finally sad with himself because he finds something he wants to do. Anything. In this case, it was construction work. It was working outside. It was being with a person that he actually liked being with. It was sharing his displeasure with his environment with a significant other. I really like that. I really like that about that movie. Yes, it's still very funny, and there's a number of great scenes. Great scenes, but I really related to the protagonist and how later on he becomes like so kind of blunt and brutally honest about, I don't give a shit. I do about maybe 15 minutes of work a week, and I just love his whole fucking monologue. It's not just that I'm a lazy person. I just hate this. I just hate this. And I love it. I thought it was great. Michael Bolton, is that the actor? Yeah, who was the main, Office Space. I fucking identify with the movie so much now more than ever. Seriously. That was a big one for me. Oh, Milton is the GOAT. Milton, he does the right thing. burn this fucking place down. Burn it all down. Kill everyone inside. Yeah, I love Office Space. I really relate to that. And, I made a change in my life. Like, I hated my office job. I hated it. Yes, it paid well. Yes, I had benefits, but my God, it just strained the soul. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. Especially when what I want to do and how it's conflicting with that. And you guys saw me how ragged I was eventually. And I made a switch. I made a change. And I'm all the better for it. I'm happy. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling pretty good. So definitely Office Space for me. That is a huge one, because how it just really, and I think it really does relate to, like, that's a guy who is like, I want to be in this place in my life, and I'm 30 years old, and I'm doing all these things, and it's not enough for me. It's not enough. So that was big. And then there's some other ones about aging where, it's like you could still do all those things despite your age. Up, I think, has a great message about that. You see like a man's life within 9-10 minutes, and how he loses everything, but how he feels renewed based on certain experiences. And realizing that he can ask for help and finding love or companionship in other characters, which he didn't initially think to. Of course, that's a very beautiful movie, I think, that does that. I'm not really a big fan of the talking dog part, but the other parts of the movie I think are great. Shrek Juice, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And people get mad that more people aren't in soul-crushing jobs. Instead of improving work culture, we blame the employee. Yeah, so often happens. Michael Bolton. Oh, yes. Yeah, the guy is like, my name is Michael Bolton. Like the singer? Yes, like the singer. Yes, just like the singer. That guy. Who's the actor that plays our lead character in Office Space? Let me see, chat. Such a wonderful fucking film. Ron Livingston plays Peter Gibbons. Ron Livingston. Great job. Great job. 99. Excellent comedy. If you've never seen Office Space, chat, do yourself a favor and fucking watch that. If you have an office job and you were like, oh my God, this is it. They nailed it. Fucking Mike Judge, he nailed it. He did such a great job with that movie. I mean, Office Space was the one just for me personally. Is there like another particular film that you think, I mean, because, you know, when you think of like teenagers, there's so many coming of age teenage movies, you know, 20s, you know, we're getting into our 20s and early adulthood, that kind of thing. I want to pick something specifically for me. And so Office Space, I feel like I relate to that more now than ever. Lost Boys, you gonna be a vampire? Hey, Shab gets haunted by conjuring ghosts. Poor guy. What? Who? What about to replace Billy? Oh, is he gonna do that? Yes. Benjamin Button hit me. Oh, that one's, yeah. You know what? That was what's funny. That was a movie I saw. I'm like, I didn't even care for it at all. It's weird. I know a lot of people that love that movie. I just like, yeah, it didn't hit me. Yeah. Yeah. Empire Records, I used to work at a CD DVD. So I guess it just depends on your, I mean, the environment which you work in. Like, okay, they nail that culture and things. And I think this Office Space speaks to me now more than ever because, like, oh my fucking God, I lived that. I felt it. Don't hate me, but Tropic Thunder is one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't hate you for that. Tropic Thunder is an excellent comedy. I love Tropic Thunder. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time. I don't hate at all. That was a big one for me. But yeah, Chad, no, that was my answer. It's definitely, I mean, Office Space is my main answer, you know, just for just like that, you're in your 30s or you're in your late 20s and you're in this environment and you thought you were going to do all these things after school and you're just like, I'm stuck. But there's hope and you can find something else. Just because you're at this age, it's not like you got to keep doing that. You can make changes in your life and to, move forward. Just don't steal money from the company. Just don't do that. So definitely that. Yes, Chad. Oh, Lord. Yes, indeed. I like First People. I can't remember the actor's name, but I found out he's a Peter. No, not Matthew Broderick. You're talking about the vice principal guy, Jeffrey. What's his name? Jeffrey Jones. What's that guy's name? Jeffrey Jones. Yeah, he's a pedophile. That is correct. That is true. But Ducking Henry Stefan, thank you so much for submitting these questions. Hope you like the thick, robust, girthy, well-endowed answers that I provided you. And now, chat, we'll go ahead and move on to Vanisphere's questions. We'll get some good questions from Vanisphere's. For these week's questions, I was thinking of going with Spider-Man. Because you love that Venom movie so damn much. You know it. Let there be carnage. But since it's your birthday weekend, thank God, let's go with one of your favorite games, Dead Space. Indeed, chat. Recently just played it again on my stream. Finish it up this past Friday. Please do check that out, chat. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. I love it. It's so much fun. It's a game that it holds up amazingly well, chat. It's over 13, it can be 14 years old now soon. Well worth playing, chat. Do yourself check it out. And the sequel, Dead Space 2. Dead Space 3, not so much. But 1 and 2, do it. Movie question. Dead Space takes inspiration from several iconic horror films. Yes, horror film franchises. The setting reminds me of Alien. The necromorphs have a sort of The Thing feel to them, and John Carpenter's The Thing to them. And Isaac himself is that everyman quality, not unlike Ash from Evil Dead. If you were tasked with making a Dead Space film, what films would you draw inspiration from? I mean, you mentioned 2 out of 3 of them. I mean, Alien, absolutely. In terms of the look of the ships, of the setting. I mean, the USG Shimura is a mining ship. When you look at the Nostromo, it's a tugboat literally tugging behind a refinery filled with all sorts of minerals. It's that lived-in, dirty, grimy, oily future. Almost dystopian looking. I mean, kind of is. We talked about this today. It almost kind of is dystopian because it's set in the same world as Blade Runner. It is. It's aliens as farther in the future. Got worse. So, yeah, I mean, of course, there's no doubt. Like, I would look at the Nostromo. I would look at specifically the Nostromo, how that just the look, the aesthetic, the grimy, like everything's just moist. Like the hallways are always moist. The walls always have it seemed like a layer of slime on them and things. Even the living quarters, like they're white. Supposed to be all clean and beautiful looking, but they've yellowed, they've browned over because so many fucking people have been there. So many dead skin cells are there. Some people have been smoking. So many asses have sat in so many seats that it's just been lived in. And I love that. And of course, clearly, EA Redwood Shores, who became Visceral, looked at the aesthetic of Alien and the Nostromo and the refinery ship and the uniforms of the people, just the overall aesthetic, and just went, do this in a video game, and they did it. They nailed it. And so Alien, of course, would be a huge inspiration for the look of the setting of the film. There's no question. And you're right. The thing is clearly was a huge inspiration in the design of the Necromorphs, Chad. When you think of all the various creatures and monsters in that movie, whether it be some of the great scenes, whether it be the couch scene, Chad, whether it be at the end of the movie with Wilford Blimmy's Abomination character, or like the dog scene, or the one with Bennings when he has those monstrous hands. Like, there's so many great, and also inspired, I think, even the sound design. Like, definitely Alien inspired the sound design, just in terms of like the bulkhead. You feel the vacuum of space pushing against the bulkhead, but just the sounds of the monsters, the yells, the howls, the gooiness, the sloppiness, the slobberiness of those aliens. How they moved, how they breaking the appendages and the bone snapping, the meat snapping, the cartilage snapping. That definitely, they used that from the thing, applied it to the Necromorphs. So, of course, they just made it even more grotesque. They just like, how else can we make this gross? Let's do one except it's pregnant and it's filled with abominations. Let's do one except it regenerates. Let's do one except it has a giant earwax pustule that explodes on you if it gets too close. The blood test scene, man. Yeah, the couch blood test scene, of course. The thing. And another one, even though I've reviewed this movie, I've done a full-length video and audio commentary for it, Chad. You can check it out on my Patreon right now. Review will eventually be on my YouTube channel. But Event Horizon, like, clearly what inspired Unitology, which is the fictional religion in Dead Space, is from Event Horizon. The iconography, how you have these zealots on board the USG Ishimura, and how they went too far with the doctrine, and they started hurting people. They started murdering people and things. And I would tone that down to a degree, because I think Dead Space got lost in the weeds with the Unitology stuff. Especially by the third game, it's like, what the fuck is even happening? It doesn't make any, it literally stops making sense. But if I had to, it's like, okay, let's have some of this. Make this an element where maybe you had someone who thought this was their doctrine. That this, they were like, okay, this is very similar to what we read in Scripture, and I'm going to use this and abuse this for my own. It's like, okay, but I wouldn't make that like the central fucking theme throughout all the games, because I think then because that's what we got at the end. It's like, it's just a muddled, confusing mess by the time we get to 3. It's like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this lore. I don't know. Keep it simple. Dead Space needs to be a survival horror story in space, much like the way Alien needs to be a survival horror in space. When you start adding all these different fucking things to it, it gets overly complicated and stupid. Happened with Prometheus, happened in Alien Covenant. It's like, well, Alien's not really about survival story. It's more about the philosophy of man and what is alive and what are. Just like, I don't give a shit. Stop it. Anytime you do that, it gets dumb. You don't need to answer all the questions. It's fine to speculate. I didn't need to know where the space jockey came from. I don't need to know where that ship in LV-426 came from. I don't even know need to know where the aliens came from. I like speculating. Maybe they were a biological weapon. Maybe the species has been around for years. Maybe they're infection. I don't care. I like speculating. You don't need to fucking tell me. So I would use a little bit of Event Horizon. Maybe I'll have an individual who is a fanatic, but I don't want that to be the central thing. I can't do it. Can't do it. It's too much. It's too much shit. So I know it's not good, but a lot of people do. A lot of people like Event Horizon. Like, there's things I admire about the film. Like, the aesthetic, of course. There's some creepy scenes and images. There's even some fun performances in it. There's some good, just deaths. Yes, but, Okay, Swedish girl. Hi, Swedish girl. Boo. Good to see you, Swedish girl. Good to see you, Tom. Hope you're doing well. Spectre Han Solo, because he was alone. He was one. Solo. Sometimes we don't need to know these things. And so, but yeah, I use 2 of the things you already listed. But yeah, Alien, the thing has to be a huge influence in this, because it was. And for the film as well. Ooh, Hayde, thank you so much for the 10 days. Happy B-Day, birth. Thank you, Hayde. Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well. Absolute pleasure. Spectre, good to see you. Thank you again. Oh, but now we'll go ahead and move on to Vanny's second question. Chat, TV question. Dead Space not only has the Necromorphs, but also the Unitologist cult, which we were talking about just before, chat. You don't often see cults in TV shows outside of supernatural shows. If you had to join a TV show cult, which one would it be, and why is the Church of the Collective from The Boys? It would not be. I like a good fresca, but I don't think I get anything out of it. I struggle to think of like a TV show cult. Like, I would join that one. I wouldn't join no cult, Because usually what always happens is you give them all your fucking money and then you're left for nothing after they can't use you anymore. They suck you fucking dry and they leave you the blow away in the wind. So the only one I could think of, it was from a movie. But I would like to join the Sanford community cult from Hot Fuzz, The Greater Good. That one where it's just this, all these fucking people in this town. Like, we just want to have the best town ever. Just don't be a dick. All right, if you're a dick and we lose it or we look bad, we'll kill you. And it's like, all right, I mean, I could do that. I keep to myself. I do my thing at Sanford and stuff, and they say the greater good and sync perfectly, which I thought was pretty cool. And we get to kind of dress up as Ghostface-esque killers and go around and killing people that we don't like, which is pretty cool. That was it. Like, I was like, I don't know what cult I would join if there was a TV show one or a movie one, but that was the big one. I was like, I can do that one, maybe, but I really couldn't. I couldn't think of anything else. Millennium Goat, I don't even know what that is. The Cola Cole from Chip and Dale Rescue. I didn't even know what that is. Yeah. Some of you guys have asked. I didn't really have an answer for this one. I just picked the Sanford Community Cult and Hot Fuzz. That was the one for the greater good, chat. The greater good. Stop saying that. So that was big for me. Hot Fuzz is Edgar Wright's third man. That's probably might be my favorite. Like, my favorite Edgar Wright movies are Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Actually, those are the only three I like of his. The rest I'm not really a big fan of, personally. But I love Hot Fuzz. It's so fucking good. So good, chat. This day and age, no one would survive the Hot Fuzz cult. Sure, yeah, it's true. They're all Karens. They're all Karens and Kens, chat. I would have to go to the cult of Ken and Karen. What I had to do, chat. But now, let's go ahead and move on to Vanny's next question, chat. Well, I see. I didn't watch the Millennium TV series. I'm just unfamiliar with it. Sorry, Scott Pilgrim was my second favorite. Baby Driver's my favorite. Really? Yeah. I'm not a big Baby Driver fan. I know a lot of people that love it. I don't really care for it. But this is Vanny's next question. Video game themed question. You talked before about your love of this game, having played a dozen times, probably. I think I've probably played it 3 dozen times. I might have been my 30th time. I would love to know. I don't know if they could keep track of it, like how many times I've actually played it, sat down, went through it multiple times. I'm going to say 30 at least 30, Chad, at this point. With the remake in the works, what are you hoping they improve, modify from the original game, and what should they not even dare to mess with, Chad? So it was announced recently in the past couple of months. It's been rumored, but it was announced that EA, the publisher of Dead Space, is tasking, I believe, EA Motive, who are the makers of the Star Wars Squadrons game. They've done some other stuff too. They are making a Dead Space remake of the original game, chat. And, it's like, I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it. Even though the original Dead Space is aged phenomenally well. Like, it doesn't feel old. Maybe graphically. The only thing about Dead Space that I think is aged, is dated. It's the graphics, but it's not like an ugly, hideous-looking game. But the character models could do, give some work, especially the human character models. But not a bad game in capacity, Chad. It is remarkable. It's aged better than something like Resident Evil 4. I think it improves upon the Resident Evil 4 formula. But they are doing that remake. And they've already talked about some things that they are adding or are improving, and I actually like what they're talking about. So they're going to be adding more levels, chat, because there was cut content from the original Dead Space. EA Redwood Shores talked about this years ago, and where they were going to have more chapters, just 12 chapters in Space, chat. And but they did have some other ideas for them, some other ones. One which was going to be an entire sewer section, chat, the poop section as I call it in Dead Space. And there's a lot of poop in Dead Space, believe me, a lot of poop, a lot of urine in Dead Space. But there was going to be an entire level dedicated to the poop, to the PP. And I am very excited to play that poo-poo PP section, chat, the sewer section, and apparently some other levels too. Can't wait for that. That'll be great. More levels, more spooky nonsense, yes. Another thing that they're adding, they're going to give Isaac a voice this time. Now, Isaac does speak in Dead Space 2 and 3. He's voiced by Gunnar Wright, I believe. Yeah, Gunnar Wright. And Gunnar Wright, I didn't know this until recently, but he actually does voice Isaac in the first game. He just goes, he does all those kind of like yells or like exasperated sounds, but he doesn't actually have any dialogue. But it's still the same voice actor. They brought him back to voice Isaac for this game where he's going to actually have speaking lines, which I think is really cool. I prefer my characters to have a voice because I feel like more connected to them. Because I don't feel connected to Isaac in the first. I mean, I like playing. I love the weapons he has. And I think he looks cool in his engineering suit and stuff. Really love his aesthetic, and he's got a hunchback and shit. But Isaac is a character. He's not a character in the first. He's like an avatar. He's an avatar in the original Dead Space. He's no different than someone like Jack from BioShock. He's an avatar. He has no voice. Things that happen to him are interesting. Yes, in regards to Nicole and the twists and turns, but he's not a character. He himself is not interesting until the second one, which they give him a voice, and he's dealing with his hallucinations and his mental illness. Then he's like, oh, this is very interesting. I feel sorry for him now. So the fact that they're going to give him a voice, I think he's going to be a more emotional character, and stuff with Nicole, I think, is going to have more resonance. The betrayals of Space Karen Kendra, maybe his connection to Hammond, his connections to Kind, his connections to Mercer. I think that's going to be really, his reactions to the fucking infection is, now we're going to see Isaac going, what the fuck is happening? That's really cool. Because I was even making fun of it. Like, Isaac has one, other than the ending where he takes off the helmet, he has only one other emotional reaction in the game where he finds out, spoiler, Nicole is dead. And he goes, oh, boy. And that's it. Oh, no. And so I want to actually hear him, like, you know, have that reaction and finding out that twist, if you will. So that one I'm game for. I'm game for. Now, the other one, I don't know if they're adding this, but the zero-G environments in the original Dead Space are fun, but you're just bouncing back and forth. You're just literally just launching and, you know, from one end to the other, and that's it in a straight line. You know, I mean, you can, you know, reverse gravity, and I like that. I love that you can change the combat up, and you have to battle the monsters, and you can be on the ceiling, they can be on the bottom, or you can be right to left and things, very vertical. But I will say, in Dead Space 2 and in 3, I'll say, I like that they added a lot more maneuverability to the zero-G environments, where you basically Iron Man. You have thrusters, and you can float in the air. You can battle people in the air. You can go forward, go back, go right to left, go fast, go slow, can be controlled. And so if they do that, if they add more of that to like zero-G maneuverability, I'd be fine with that. That wouldn't bother me at all. I think that'd be more fun, honestly, because I don't hate the way that zero-G works in Dead Space 1. But I was like, yeah, I could use some improvement. But if they don't, then it's like, okay, that's fine. But I would like that. I wouldn't mind that. I think that'd be neat. You had me at the poo-poo pee-pee section. Yeah! I'm more interested in how they do with Nicole and Isaac. Yeah, I mean, I imagine all these people are going to get expanded roles and voice lines and things. Here's going to bring back some of the other voice actors, too. I imagine they can. Can't see why not. Now, the things that I asked that they do not change, and because they made, you know what? And it's based on something that happened in the Dead Space franchise, chat, where they did change certain things. I do not want them to change the upgrade system or the economy again. The upgrade system, Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, is great. It's simple. It makes sense. You get power. You get power nodes. You can use them on doors to open secret areas, and you can use them to upgrade your weapons and your suit and your rig and your kinesis and your stasis. And it's good. It's perfect. It makes sense. You get money. You fucking these monsters. Who gives a shit? They drop money. Maybe they had fucking wallets at one time. They were human at one point. And you get the credits, you go to the store, you buy all this shit. It's like, yeah, it's like, why would I have a currency system? I don't care. It makes sense. It's simple. I can buy all these power nodes. I can sell all these ruby semiconductors and gold semiconductors and diamond semiconductors. It's like, I like it. It's simple. It's in 1 and in 2. It didn't need to change. And they fucking changed it in 3 specifically to get more money out of people, chat, because they wanted to, over EA, not Visceral, I don't blame them. EA wanted to monetize the shit out of Dead Space 3, which, again, this is a franchise that was single-player only, and they completely changed the entire upgrade and economy of the game, where instead of, there's no credits, you get scraps, and you have to use a little fucking dinky goddamn robot in the environment to find you scraps, and it'll get you stuff later, or you can just go ahead and buy them. You can just spend $5 or $10 or $15 or $25, $50 to get all the scrap you need in order to upgrade your weapons, and they did weapon customization, and it took the fun out of the other weapons to me, where literally I created like a plasma cutter shotgun combo weapon. I was like, that's it. That's all I need. And I played through the game with just that fucking, everything else was like useless. Nothing, I didn't need anything. It broke the combat, the variety of the combat, the plasma cutter and the line gun, the flamethrower and the contact beam and the ripper and all these other weapons, the spike gun. So do not change the economy, keep it the same. You want to maybe incorporate more of the Dead Space 2 variety? And they're like, okay, but it was still very similar to Dead Space 1. Do not change that. I don't want them to do that. They put in the Dead Space 3 and was like, what the fuck are you doing? So they said, and then they did say that they're not doing monetization in the game. So I'm guessing they will not do that. They will not do it. But I don't want them to change the economy or the upgrade system because I like it. It's fucking simple. It makes sense. I'm used to it. Everyone's used to it. There's nothing wrong. There's inherently nothing wrong with it. So that's what I'm all about. Battle base, what we talking about? Dead Space Remake. What I want, what I don't want in the new one. Again, to recap what I want, more levels, which they've talked about, adding a sewer section, some other things. Voice for Isaac, which he is getting, we already know. Maybe some improvements to the zero-G environment where I have a little more maneuverability. And the things I do not want, do not change the upgrade system, keep it simple. Do not change the economy, keep it simple. It works. It works, chat. Nicole's poop. Also that. She's a poo-poo monster. Remember Dead Space 3? A gameplay, they made it more action-oriented. You fucking Isaac and fucking do flips and shit and somersaults, and you fought enemies who shot at you, and yeah. Yeah, it has issues. It has issues, chat. Oh, with adding the poo-poo pee-pee section, the chapter is now spelled Nicole P is dead. Yeah, it's true. Oh, yeah, that's right, because the whole thing is Nicole is dead. Maybe they'll do, oh, no, Nicole P. Maybe her name is like P or something. They'll expand on her name. Nicole, whatever her name is. Nicole Daniels? I forget what her name is. Oh, Lord. But that answered your question, I believe, quite thoroughly, Mr. Vanispheres. Now, shall we move on to the second to last question, the penultimate question, chat from Benny. Dead Space is kicking off your Spooptober, my spoopy month of streams, chat, month of playing horror games. So that all the rest of October, chat, and even the first week of November, I'll be playing nothing but horror games. Tomorrow, Outlast, full playthrough of the first game. And after that, chat, Alan Wake Remastered. Can't wait. If you had to do another month of holiday-themed games, which holiday would it be, and what games would you play? I mean, October and horror just goes hand in hand, of course. You know, Halloween and things. There's so many horror games. It's its own genre of games at this point. Subgenre, if you will. No, I mean, a genre, subgenre, whatever. But the other one's like horror. I guess the one I would think of is like December Christmas-themed stuff. Or like, but I would structure, maybe not like, it's a Christmas game, but it's like, it takes place in like, mainly in a winter environment. So and I did this before. I did this years ago when I did my Aegis the Sneaky Cat Daddy stream shed in Skyrim. I started that in December and went into January. But if I have to pick that up again, I do. I had to complete the Dragonborn DLC one day. But if for the month of December or Christmas, I would play Skyrim. Maybe another game where it has a winter environment. Rise of Tomb Raider completely takes place in a winter environment. Batman Arkham Origins takes place on Christmas Eve. So like these kind of games I think would be pretty fun. Those would make sense to me. Like I could definitely play those in like this upcoming December, and I think like that would make sense. But there are a ton of games I'm gonna have to get caught up on, chat. Like November, like October's releasing some new titles. November's releasing some new titles. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but yeah, those are some examples. I mean, are there any other like games that have like a winter environment? There's winter levels, of course, but like where primarily the game is all winter. I like Dead Space 3 sadly like has a winter environment for the most part. You know, I would say 3/4 of that game takes place in a snow planet, on a snow planet, but I don't want to play the game again. Lost Planet, that's a good one. I forgot about Lost Planet. That's a good one. So we eat the poop. Do we get the chop air in the pea hentai? Oh, that's right. Going back to my, oh my God, my Live, Die, Repeat review, my Edge of Tomorrow review. I remember that. The poop, the pee, and the chop air. Oh, that's true, M. Xavier. Yeah, Spider-Man Miles Morales. That's right. It's a more recent one. That takes place all in winter. That would be a good one to do. That would be an excellent one to do. Very good choice. Yeah, I can do that from now on. I played that before, too. You can check out my Miles Morales gameplay. That is on my channel right now. But that's a good one. Horizon for... Oh, yeah, the Horizon for Wilds. Yeah, there's definitely DLC that are, like, winter-themed. That's a good one. Frozen Wilds DLC. That, which I have played. I think the original Battlefront at snow. It has some snow levels on the original Battlefront. Hoth and stuff. Dead Rising 4. Oh, my God. I loved... And I'm that guy that loves the... I think Dead Rising gets better as a series that goes along. I know people are like, no, they're bad by 3. It's like, I'm not like 1 and 2. I'm like, 3 and 4 are great. But Dead Rising 4, you're right. It takes place in winter. It's Christmas themed. I fucking love Dead Rising. I can't believe I forgot about that one. Holy shit. I definitely got to play that. I think I got to play like a couple of like holiday themed, Christmas or winter themed games. Dead Rising 4 is excellent. Dead Rising that is no. Dead Rising 4 is more Christmas. Dead Rising 3 takes place in Los Angeles. Dead Rising 4 is when you play Frank West again and you're in like Colorado in the winter. That's what it is. You go back to the mall again, but it's instead of being in summer, it's winter. Yeah. So absolutely love Dead Rising 4. Excellent choice, Austin. Arkham Knight takes place in Halloween. Yes, it does. Yeah, that's Halloween night. Arkham Origins takes place Christmas Eve. And I think Arkham City to an extent. I mean, there's some ice. I think there's snow in Arkham City. I'm trying to remember Arkham City. Felt like it was like pretty cold. I think there is snow in Arkham City, and I think Arkham Asylum takes place like in the spring or something. Yeah, but no, there are great games which I could definitely do for a Christmas December winter themed month. I think that could work out, rather. That'd be the easiest one. The other ones, I'm like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, after that. Be a little hard, I think. And here, chat, is Vanny's last question, music question. I'm writing these questions while you're playing Dead Space, believe it or not. Whoa! So while hearing your voice, I'm hearing the soundtrack, and hot damn, it's ominous. It is ominous, it's spooky, it's terrifying, one might say. What makes a good horror game soundtrack, in your opinion, and which one is the absolute best? I think that a horror-themed soundtrack is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. It's to make you feel uneasy. It's supposed to heighten the already spooky environment. Like Dead Space has this kind of it has orchestral bits, but there's also like parts of it where it incorporates the sounds, environmental sounds, like of the or like I said before, the scraping of metal, the guttural cries of creatures, the vacuum against the bulkhead of the ship. It incorporates that into the score itself, and that's what makes it so ominous. And you're like, and it plays around with audio, and you're like, well, okay, where's the fucking necromorph? Where's it coming from? Is it going to be in front of me? Is it going to be behind me? Is it my right or my left? Love that. So Dead Space's score is exceptional. Resident Evil 2 remake recently, I would say Resident Evil 2 remake, and I would say Resident Evil 8 Village, both have excellent scores. Very high in my list. And another one, Chad, and it's very similar to Dead Space, because, I mean, it was also because it's incorporating a score from the original movie, but Alien Isolation, which is basically using a lot of Jerry Goldsmith's score, but along with a lot of, like, atmospheric music, too, to set the tone, which, you know, I love that. So those are definitely, like, some of my top ones. Dead Space 2 we can also put up there, too. Resident Evil 2 remake, Resident Evil Village most recently, Alien Isolation. That's big for me. Sound Hill soundtrack is legendary. I'm making you feel like you're just saying it. That's true. Yeah. And a lot of string instruments with Sound Hill too. I hear that. Yeah, you're right. That's a good one. That's a very good pick. Very good pick. Oh yeah, the Resident Evil. I never watched that. I heard that was pretty bad. And Crackle, movie made for. Remember Crackle, chat? No one remembers Crackle. But there's a lot of great, horror theme scores. But those are some of mine. But yeah, Dead Space is. I mean, when you fucking go in the menu, it's like, oh my god. I guess this is music. This is the most terrifying thing ever. Oh, Lord. But that, my friends, is Vanisphere's questions. I have no idea if Crackle's still around. I don't know. I don't think they're making anything for it. Maybe it exists, but they're like, we don't know what to do. It just is what it is. I don't know. It's a good question. Chat, let's look up what's Crackle doing. Let's look up Crackle. Crackle it's still going. It's a video streaming platform owned by Chicken Soup for the Soul Tournament. Because of original content, acquired program, and service available in 21 countries on connected devices. So it's still doing stuff. They still have things. All right. Here you go. What a name. A bad name. Yeah. Watch Night of the Living Dead remake on Crackle. Oh, the 90s one with Tony Todd. I actually like that one. It's not too bad. You see what you put on ice cream, it's hard. Now it's good. Oh, yeah, no, it's Crackle. Crackle is the one with the little candy bar. But thank you, Vanispheres, for the questions. Very good ones, my friend. Themed after Dead Space, which I love fucking talking about Dead Space. You know that. And now, chat, we're getting to the final questions. These are fun. These aren't even really questions, chat. This is trivia, which this is cool. Maybe you guys, you inspired a good idea here, Osnick. Maybe for those of you who subscribe, maybe I'll you can ask me questions or trivia questions and see if I promise I won't look them up ahead of time, chat. I'll be fair, and I did not. I answered them, but I did not look up what the answers are. Osnick, you'll have to correct me. So I'm actually glad you're here. But Osnick says, since it's your birthday week for you, I got Chris Herman trivia. So come on down. Let's do it. So here's we have 4 questions, chat. We have 4 questions from Osnick. This is actually pretty fun. And this is question number 1, Chad. And this one I have to think about. I think I got most of it. I don't know if I got all of it. This is the first question. What are the first 3 movies you did scene by scene by scene breakdowns for, Chad? And I said Cats, A Fall from Grace, and Suicide Squad. Those are the 3 I got. Is that correct, Ostinek? Now, I think you provided me, didn't you provide me like a list, like a Google Doc for me to check? I'll have a link to the sheet with answer if I'm not there. I'm going to do that right now. We're going to get that up there and see if that was indeed the case. So, Okay, so from right here, as far as I can tell, you have Cats, A Fall from Grace. You only have 2 up there. You only have 2 up there. And so what's the third one? Do you know what the other third one is? I guess I can look it up. It's Cats, A Fall from Grace, and Doolittle. Totally forgot about Doolittle, chat. I completely forgot about that movie's existence. Holy shit, I got it wrong, chat. I mean, I got 2/3 of it. I did get 2/3 of it, chat. And you remember Cats being the first one. I remember Fall from Grace. I was like, okay, that is definitely 2, but I forgot about Doolittle. But the other one is, okay. I totally forgot. Okay, fair enough. Well, now we'll go ahead and get to the next question. So let's see what we got here, chat. All right. Again, I did not look these up. I just put my answers down. I was going to wait for the stream itself. What was the name of the movie you couldn't find, so you replaced it with a review for Iron Man? I believe it was Meteor Man. And I still have to do that one. I think it was Meteor Man. And I am correct, chat. The answer was Meteor Man. That is not available on any streaming service. And so I was like, shit. And maybe it's available on something now, chat. But I got it correct. I was supposed to do a Meteor Man review, chat. But I did Iron Man instead. My first MCU movie review. I've only done 2, I believe. I've only done the original Iron Man and Black Panther. So I did those, chat. Very nice. So this is the third question. What was the name of the movie you have done the shortest review for? I said Biodome. Let's see what the answer is. Answer was Biodome, clocking in around 20 minutes. Nailed it, chat. Biodome, awful fuck me. That's a comedy with just scene after scene of unfunny stuff happening, chat. With fucking Pauly Shore and one of the Baldwin brothers. The one that I don't like. Stephen Baldwin. Oh, what a horrible, painful movie to sit through. I couldn't. It was a rough review. I was like, I don't know what fucking happened. Or they based on YouTube as Power Rangers Troll 2 and Dragon Blade. Ooh, good ones. Never that movie. You don't need to. You don't need to watch it. Your Man isn't on YouTube. Maybe it is. It might be now. Maybe I missed it. Ooh, but yes, I got that right. Nice. Okay, I'm doing pretty well. And this one I know, chat. What was the name of your Skyrim character? Idris the Sneaky Cat Daddy, my friend. Idris the Sneaky Cat Daddy, chat. McCavity, which of course was named after Idris Elba's McCavity from Cats, chat. That's when I was playing Skyrim. That's what I think when I did my Cats review. That's when I started playing Skyrim for the first time, or not for the first time, but when I played it on stream, and I made him look like Idris Elba from Cats. I did pretty fucking good there. I did really well. So really, I only missed one. I mean, that's not even that, but like it's like a third of it, really. So I know me. I know me pretty well, chat. I'm pretty good. Oh, that's right. That's what I was doing. The Papa Palpatine hands. Oh Lord. Yes, Martin Cat. Yeah, that's Martin Thomas, the Cat Daddy. Very, very, very good. Very good. Oh Lord, but yeah, chat. That wraps up tonight's questions of Class on a Glass Cast for your ass with a bit of sass. Before I go, chat, does anyone else have any questions for me? I will happily answer. You know what, chat? You think about some questions. I'm going to get myself a little wine because I'm a wine daddy, and we'll be right back, chat, and I'll answer them. Stick around. Oh, my God. Good night. I need a week will be hard. Ooh, next week will be a harder question. I probably appreciate that, man. No, make them harder. Make them harder for me. I love that. I think it's a good idea, man. It's unique. Oh, so I was watching Hobbs and Shaw. Excuse me. The other night, does anyone else think Vanessa Kirby is sexy as fuck? Besides me. No, Vanessa Kirby's beautiful. No, she's beautiful. I was even talking about how sexy she was. I was even mentioning it's not even just, I just like her personality in the movie too. She's like kind of has that sarcastic, that dry wit. And I was like, that's pretty funny. She's like, there was this one line in it. She goes, she also does a like that. I was like, oh, that's cute. But when she's talking to the, Idris Elba's henchman or whatever, and like they have this giant fucking facility, and she's like, so what's it like working on the Death Star? I thought that was fucking hilarious. we don't work on Death Star. I really, really love that. I really, really love that. How would you meet Squish Squish, and what is she like, her personality and appearance? You want specific details. We met on a dating service, and we just connected over mutual things, and she's super cute. She's got brown hair, she's got brown eyes, and she's a big old dork like me. And, but she's busy right now with some personal stuff, but hoping we get back to talking. And hoping that I can eventually have her come down. We've talked about her visiting And I think it'd be fun to have her on stream as well, so you guys can talk with her. But yeah, I'm hoping she has a great personality. I really like her a lot, and so I'm hoping that we can have her down here. We'll see. We're gonna work on it. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe in October or sometime in November is gonna be a busy month. Man, maybe at some time before the end of the year. I think that'd be great. Chris, have you seen the movie The Crazy in the 70s? I've only seen the remake and that part. No, but I've always wanted to check out the original Crazies, but I've never seen it. Oh, that's come Cowboy Bebop. No Sopranos watch party tonight. No. Sadly not. Blackstone, good to see you. Greetings and salutations. Pop quiz. Which sci-fi horror is scary? Alien, 1982, The Thing, or Cronenberg's The Fly? Well, this is a very subjective question, obviously. But, oh, God. I have to go with the one that scared me the most. And, again, I saw Alien. I talked about this today. You can go ahead and listen to the audio chat on my Discord discourse where I saw Alien. Alien was the first radar film I ever saw. I saw it at 10 years old. And yeah, I had a reaction to that film. I didn't sleep well for 3 days, so I have to say Alien for me. I'd have to say Alien. Yes, and Show, thank you for the 20 minutes. My heart's a pitter-pattering. Always a pleasure to have you here, Show. Good to see you. Oh, yo, Squid Game is great. Yeah, I really like Squid Game. Hope you guys are liking it. This Kirby is very attractive. Are there any games that you really like, but the second playthrough you didn't like as much? Ooh. A game I really liked, but the second playthrough I didn't care for. Wow, I got man, I'm racking my brain. There's nothing that's immediately coming to mind, honestly. Damn it. Thank you, Show, for another 20 biddies. I can't think of anything. What about you? What about you, Xavier? Was there a game that you initially liked playing, but then you did a second playthrough, you're like, I don't like this? Nothing's coming to mind for me. We want to see her. We'll see her. Hopefully see her soon, Swedish girl. Hopefully. I would love to have her on. Just that she does live in another state. So, so having her come down here and everything and travel. But I am hoping. I would love to have you guys meet her because I like her a lot. I do. Dating service sounds sus. We met on like... Yeah, me nosy. Sorry, how adorable. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a dating app. Yeah. I have to say thing. You can say a thing. You always say the thing, Cowboy Flop. Emily, cool. Another eHarmony success story. I would love to meet. Yeah. I mean, that's... I guess there's a weird stigma still towards like dating, like online dating services and things, or apps and stuff. But I mean, I think that's a really great way to meet people, just because you are specifically looking for people who, obviously you're attracted to physically, of course. That's the first thing. But you also have a lot of things in common, because on your profiles you can see all the things you come. Like, we have this in common, this in common, this in common. So it always works. It's I don't really understand why there's this weird, So not saying that you guys have it, but it's always weird that there's like this stigma that's put on online dating services. It's like, what, you a loser or something? It's like, no. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird, right? But yeah, eHarmony or OkCupid and stuff. It's great. Aw, yay. Thank you, bro. Chris, I just did episode 3 of Squid Game this morning. That was intense. That was the cookie episode. Was that the cook? No, I think that was cookie. The thing I meant would be scarier than Alien. Oh, like scenario? What would be scarier? Oh, Jesus. I don't know. Well, okay, in terms of scenario, what the thing I'd be like most scared of? The Fly, because I'm like, well, that's my fucking body. I can't do anything to fix this. You're fucked. Alien, if I'm not impregnated with the thing, I have a chance. It's small, but I have a chance. The Thing, similar. I could get infected. I could be absorbed and killed, but I still have a chance. The Fly, I'm fucked. You are fucked no matter what you do. So I would say The Fly is definitely the scariest scenario to be in, because it's literally your body. And I am not as smart as Jeff Goldblum is in that movie to figure out how to fix it. I would turn into a human fly abomination. Yeah. Here she's been, man. I'm busy, Emily. I'm very busy. I was like, I got rid of my dating apps. Too many weird people. There's always going to be that. There's always going to be that. I'm saying for me, it's Ghost of Tsushima. Lack of human repetitive missions make the game a little boring. I can see that. There is a lack of humor. That was one of my big criticisms of that game. There was a lack of humor. They needed a little more I mean, there's so many side missions where it's like, can you help me? I was like, of course. And it's like, my whole family's dead. I was like, oh, shit. Like, every side mission ended with someone's family being murdered or the guy, originally the quest giver, being murdered horrifically. It was always that. It was always that. Chris, Hinge and Bumble are the best dating apps in NYC. Cool. Who's going to turn into a flag? No, I don't want that. I don't want it. KC, what is your take on dating services, Chris? Struggling at 28 to start getting back into dating when my life was ripped down by COVID. Just had the idea of getting into dating, and it's not something I thought of for a while, but it was starting to come back now. Or just ignore it or work on a small relationship. And I mean, it's like what I said. I mean, no, I think online dating services or apps, whatever you want to call them, websites, whatever, that is a great way to meet people. Because you already have like a profile, an idea of what the person is based on their list of interests, how they look, the physical attraction, the personality attraction, the interest attraction. That's all there. So, yeah, no, pursue those things. I think that's a great way to get to know somebody initially. That's why it's always weird to me that there's such a shaming still of these things. It's like it makes sense to do these things. Especially in this time of, pandemic and COVID, it's hard to meet new people and you connect that way initially. So, yeah, I think it's great. Chris, which version of Night of the Living Dead you like better? The one from the 60s or 90s? 60s, but the 90s one is still good. 90s one, it got a lot of hate initially, but I still think it's a great movie with Tony Todd. Xavier The Last of Us 2 is one of the most depressing games, and they still make time for... Yeah, I know. They still have some jokes. They still have a moment... I mean, I want to spoil. I mean, the game is, I guess, recent, but they still have that beautiful moment where you get that flashback with Joel and Ellie. When they go to the dinosaur museum. It's like, hits, champ. Right, Tone, dating is dating. Meet online or early, get a rapport, and then make plans if it's clicking. Yup. Does it work? Alien, Xeno will kill me, or space will kill me. The thing, Xeno will kill me, or Cole will kill me. The fly, hubris kills me. Yeah. Don't get drunk. You're drunk and horny. Don't get drunk and horny. Baby GGG for me. I just need to get out of Washington before I get back on dance. Gotcha. I like 60s better too, but I did like Barbara. I like Barbara in the 90s. Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. All right, we're more diverse than ever, which sometimes makes it harder to connect romantically with people. Dating services help that. Yeah. No, I think they do. Absolutely. You say he was looking for anything too serious a few weeks ago, but he found someone who changes. Yeah, I mean, Yeah, you never know. You never know when you're going to meet someone. So, yeah, I did not expect it, believe me. And I guess that happens a lot of the times. And I know I'm like, well, I'm going to fully concentrate on this, Chad. This is my thing, and I still am. But, yeah, I met someone. I'm hoping, it could be something more, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated in regards to it, Chad, if anything does indeed change. But yeah, I really like this person. She's a cutie patootie. That's what I will say. Cutie patootie, Chad. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Yeah, Chad, there you go. Nice. Thank you. Nice. Love finds you. It finds us all. So it's been good. It's been good, Chad. And I hope you enjoyed this class in the glass cast for your ass with a little bit of that sass, Chad. It's the least I can provide. But does she watch your streams? I don't think she's seen them yet. She knows what I do for a living. We met when I first kind of started doing like the DT double toasted stuff right beforehand, I think. So she's aware of what I do. I don't think she's seen my content though. Ducking Henry, thank you, Stefan. Thank you again for your question. Thank you for the 20 days. I feel so honored to get the bond. Of course. Yeah, happy to talk about this. Chris, is there one movie you watched as a kid, enjoyed it, but watching it again as an adult, you do not feel the same way? You know what? I'm afraid to, because I enjoyed it as a kid so much. I don't know if I would enjoy it as an adult. I was a huge fan. I am a huge fan of like the first two Austin Powers movies, International Man of Mystery and Spy Who Shagged Me. All those movies were so fucking funny, and I'm afraid to go and watch them again and not like them. Because I remember really laughing. I remember those like, oh my God. I remember those on Blockbuster. Thought they were hilarious. Like, I'm really afraid to rent those or like to watch them again and be like, oh, these are terrible. So I remember not liking Goldmember all that much, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. So that is like a fear of mine. But I'm trying to think of, is there like a movie as a kid that I loved, that I always watched, but as an adult I hate or dislike now? I mean, there's nothing's really coming to mind. Thankfully, I was watching fantastic content as a child, Chip. I mean, I watched a lot of animated stuff, the Renaissance era Disney and things, and those still hold up to this day. And yeah, I can't think of anything. you know, I remember seeing things that I was young that I felt like, a lot of people didn't like, but I still really enjoyed. Like, I still stand by this. Like, I really like Ron Howard's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, especially because of Jim Carrey. The live action remake I thought was really good, or live action version was really good. But I don't know. The Austin Powers, the two Austin Powers movies, the first and the second one, are the ones I'm like, I'm afraid to watch these again because I don't know if I'll like them again. So that's big. They're still funny. That's just me. Okay, that's good. Thank you, baby GTG. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Go to Gamer, good to see you. I'm just doing my Class and Glass cast for you. With Sads, but I'm about to wrap up. Batman and Robin for you? Oh, sure. Phantom Menace. Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah, Phantom Menace. But as a child, I realized, as a teenager, I was like, oh, I don't like this. As a very young teenager. But it did take some time. I did not change my opinion on Phantom Menace until I saw Attack the Clones. I went, wait a minute. I had a coming to God moment. I was like, what the fuck? Matrix trilogy for you, Duck and Henry? Kazam. I've not seen Kazam in some time. I remember liking Kazam as a kid, so that's probably one. I like Goldmember, but I get why not everyone likes it. But the Austin Powers movies are still funny. Attack the Clones for you, Casfe? Yeah. There's supposed to be an Austin Powers 4. I would have liked to see it, but then Mike Myers said, I'm done. Everyone hated the Love Guru, and he's like, I'm done. I only show up occasionally in weird roles. I will play a minor character in Inglourious Basterds, but aside from that, nothing. That was a very fucking... I was like, that's Mike Myers. Remember that scene in Inglourious Basterds chat when he's suddenly in it for like 5 minutes with Michael Fassbender? And it's like, what the fuck? It was a very weird moment in that movie. And I like Inglourious Basterds. But it was odd. Oh, Lord. Back on the next 2 days off. I got you. I will be back on Monday. I'll be back on Monday, though. That'll happen. Goldmember was so into its fat jewels. Oh, yeah, Fat Bastard. The corn. I don't remember eating corn. No, that was from, I don't remember. I don't know if that was from Corn or if that was from Spy with Shag Me or Goldmember. Might be getting them mixed up now. Again, that's why I don't want to see them. Yes, Bryce, he was Inglourious Basterds. This is fucking weird. Sarah Steele's second best movie. I mean, I'm still, my favorite. If I had to rank my I'll end on this. If I had to rank my Tarantino films, chat, Pulp Fiction, number 1. Number 2, I would put Jackie Brown. Number 3, Reservoir Dogs. Number 4, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 5, Inglourious Basterds. Number 6, Django Unchained. Number 7. This is one I'm like, all right, these are the ones I'm like, I don't need to watch these anymore. Like, I like all those films that I just named. I like all those movies. All Better Than Sexes, Full Prices, Matinees. These are the ones I'm like, I could give a shit less. Oh, boy. What was it? Number 7 I was on? I don't know. Fuck. Kill Bill, I guess. Maybe Kill Bill 1. Kill Bill and Kill Bill 1. Kill Bill 1 and 2 are just like, they both interchangeable to me. It's like, I know, it's one continuous story. But Jackie Brown is number 2. Jackie Brown is number 2 for me. But I guess Kill Bill 1, maybe Kill Bill 2, then Hateful Eight, and then Death Proof. So chat, just to reiterate my Tarantino movie rankings. Number 1, starting with number 1, chat, my favorite. Pulp Fiction. Then Jackie Brown. Then Reservoir Dogs. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Inglourious Basterds. Django Unchained. Kill Bill Volume 1, I guess. Kill Bill Volume 2, I guess. Hateful Eight and Death Proof. It's 10 movies. Boom. I had a friend growing up who was obsessed with Kill Bill 1 and 2. Like, fucking literally obsessed with that movie. Yeah. He loved it. Does Sin City count? No, that's not him. That's Robert Rodriguez. No. That was Robert Rodriguez. Yeah, those are the movies. And I know he's done some short films. I know he worked on an anthology movie or something. But I'm talking about the ones I know he directed. He wrote and shit. Jerry said he wants to do Kill Bill 2 or Kill Bill 3, but wants to wait till the actors are old. Yeah, I don't need that movie. I personally, I don't even really care for it. Yeah, because I know he says I'm gonna do what didn't he say? Like, is he retired now? Did he say I'm done? I mean, I don't believe him. But and then you say like, I mean, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was not a bad one to go out on. Like again, like that movie's great. I really love the acting and the story of Rick Dalton and Brad Pitt's character. I like all that shit. That's really good. You know, the ending's fucking nuts. But just it's a slice of life movie. That's what that is. It has like something in common where it has like, you know, it's kind of like Richard Linklater's shit. God damn it. Help me out here, chap. Not everybody wants some, but God fucking damn it. His slice of life film in the 70s. I literally Dazed and Confused. It's very much like that, where we're following a single day or maybe a couple days of these two people, you know. So that was I really liked it for that. Good to see you, Alec. Isn't Rick Dalton based on Steve McQueen? I don't know. I know Steve McQueen's in the movie. Or you have an actor playing Steve McQueen. When he died in a car crash, and he loved the Kill Bill movies. He used to go back and forth about why Django and Kill Bill is better than each. Oh, like that, nice. You ever to see what a Star Trek movie would have been? Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what, I would have been too. You know, I think Star Trek has had great success on TV, like still recently. Now, like the movies has kind of floundered. You know, it's kind of gone dry, and so I would have liked to have seen what that would have looked like. I would love to see, him go like, all right, here's my Star Trek movie. Here's my James Bond film. We were talking about this recently on Double Toasted. I would love to see what he would do with that. I mean, it'll be very Tarantino. I think it'd be cool. Yeah. Very interested to see what his Star... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I just read that. Yeah. Yeah, chat. But yeah, no, it was a good conversation and a little bit of Tarantino, chat. I've not yet done a Tarantino review, a scene by scene breakdown, chat, as far as I know. But I do love a number of his films. And like I said, my top three, again, are Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, and Reservoir Dogs. They've seen a movie that just like that one movie Steve did called The Greatest... Yeah, they did that. Do it! I'll do it someday. Definitely do it someday, chat. But now, my friends, I am going to head out. I hope you enjoyed this latest Class in the Glass cast for your ass of a little bit of sass. And also all these other additional questions, chat, that I answered.